Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to the April 8th session of your Brookings City Council. As City Clerk to record attendance.
Council members, would you please respond with the word present once I call your name? Bacon?
Present.
Brink?
Present.
Corbett?
Present.
Hanson?
Present.
Niemeyer?
Present.
Tilton Byrne?
Present.
Wendell?
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First item is an executive session. So pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, for consulting with legal counsel or reviewing communication from legal counsel about proposed or pending litigation or contractual matters. Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
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 We're in executive session.
Dan.
Has left.
Nick.
Has left. Holly.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're back to a regular meeting now at 6 o'clock. We just came out of executive session. The first item is the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment on the consent agenda? Seeing none, close public comment. Council comments or questions on consent agenda? Seeing none, Bonnie, please call the roll.
Hanson?
Aye.
Niemeyer?
Aye.
Tilton Byrne?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Bacon?
Aye.
Brink?
Aye.
Corbett?
Aye. Consent agenda is approved. Okay, at this time, under open forum and presentation, anyone that cares to speak to the council about a topic that's not on the agenda for tonight, certainly welcome and encouraged to come up. I tell you that those microphones have been sterilized, for lack of a better term, so please don't touch them. They are hot, which means they're on all the time. So anyone care to speak to the council on a topic? Okay, well, we won't belabor that one then. So we'll go on to close public comment, by the way. Number 6B, ask City Clerk to explain the update on the election.
Mayor, City Council members, and members of the public, House Bill 1298, passed by the state legislature, required all elections originally set for April and May to move to any Tuesday in June. The City Council must approve the proposed alternate election date. Staff is recommending June 23rd for this combined election date. The selection of a date required multiple steps, confirmation of available staff, facilities for polling locations, and collaboration with both the Brookings County Finance Office as well as the Brookings School District. Many people have asked if we can hold this election in conjunction with the primary. This is a very logical question. However, the law that governs elections presents this as a viable option due to the fact that municipalities and schools are required to begin early absentee voting 15 days prior to the election date. We began absentee voting on Monday, March 30th. The state didn't enact the law until after that date. Early absentee ballots have been voted and mailed. It is not feasible to print and coordinate new ballots without impacting those who have already voted. The city school election has been using vote centers since 2014. Changing this would cause voter confusion. The primary reason for separating the primary election and the combined city school election is to ensure the integrity of the election process and assure voter trust. Allowing for almost 3 weeks between the primary and the alternate election date, this would provide the possibility of voters to relax after the primary and the local candidates to refresh their campaigns for this local election. At the next City Council meeting, a recommended resolution will be presented stating the election date of June 23rd, the polling locations which will be used, and the election workers hired to operate those polling locations. Staff plans to start marketing the election immediately if there are no objections from the City Council. In person and mail-out early absentee voting, just an update on our numbers. To date, there has been 108 absentee ballots mailed out. 26 of those have already been returned, and we have had 13 individuals come in person to cast their ballots. As the absentee ballot application requires a copy of their photo ID, Hy-Vee and several local banks have stepped up and are allowing our voters to obtain those ID copies by just going through the drive-thrus or seeing the customer service counter at Hy-Vee. The absentee ballot application can be mailed to the city clerk's office or placed in the drop box on the west side of the city county building. As a reminder, in-person early absentee voting is currently taking place Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, in the lobby of the city county government building. This absentee in-person location will be open continually through the Monday, 5 o'clock, the day before the new election date. Is there any questions?
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Watch for next council meeting and a resolution coming forward for the council's action. I'll go to contracts and change orders, calling a city engineer. There she is, out in the waiting room.
SDI 22nd Avenue Phase 1 Reconstruction Project. Can you hear okay? This project is the 22nd Avenue Reconstruction Project between Minnesota Drive and Eastbrook Drive, and it included full reconstruction to widen the roadway, construct sidewalks, and traffic signals and street lighting. The project has been completed and is ready to be closed out. This change order will authorize an increase of $8,636.64 to the current contract amount, and it also adjusts the contract completion date to June 19, 2020, due to delayed shipment of the traffic signal equipment and the final punch list work. So the final contract price is $2,901,833.24, and staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 20-34.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All right. Any public comment on Resolution 20-34? Seeing none, close public hearing. Council, comments or questions? Okay, Bonnie, please call the roll.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Tiltonburn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Bacon,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Corbett,
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 20-34 is approved. Ask City Engineer to introduce the next one.
Okay, thank you. This item is action on Resolution 20-031, A resolution awarding bids on the airport hangar taxi lane reconstruction project, AIP number 3460005-32-2020. The city held a bid letting on Tuesday, March 17th for the airport taxi lane reconstruction project. The low bid was from Bose Construction of $242,433, which was 17% lower than the engineer's estimate, and it is within our airport budget. Approval of this resolution will make the tentative award for the hangar taxi lane project to Bose Construction for the low bid price contingent upon receipt of the approval of the good faith DBE effort and receipt of an FAA grant offer. So this resolution will authorize the city manager to sign the FAA grant offer, the grant agreement, and all other related documents for the contract work. And staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 20-31.
So moved.
Second.
We have mo- Okay, we have motion and a second. Any public comment on this resolution? Seeing none. Council comments or questions? Please call a roll.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Bacon,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Corbett,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Thank you, Jackie. Resolution 20-31 approved. Ask Community Development Director Mike Struck to introduce Resolution 20-33.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, members of the audience. Resolution 20-033 is a resolution awarding bids on a cropland lease. Every year, the city leases out the undeveloped industrial land, and it's primarily to help with some of the weed control and maintenance issues. We held a bid opening yesterday. We received one bid. It's approximately 40 acres, 30 acres in the Weiss Business Park and 10 acres up in the Svennis Industrial Park. We received one bid from Bauer Farms at a price of $170 per acre. It generate about $6,800 annually. And staff does recommend approval of this at the next council meeting, potentially on the 28th. You'll see a follow-up item on this. We will do a resolution of intent to lease real property to a private party. So staff would stand for any questions.
Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 20-033.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, motion and a second on that. Public comment on this one? Seeing none, council comments or questions? Please call a roll.
Wendell,
Aye.
Bacon,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Corbett,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Tilton Burn.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 20-33 is now approved. All right, ask our Director of Parks and Rec to come and introduce Resolution 20-36.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have to push that up a little bit. I just wanted to introduce Resolution 20-36, resolution awarding bids on the Bob Sheldon Athletic Field renovation. We received two bids. Low bid was from Clark Drew Construction for $2,516,000, and we would also be recommending alternate 3, which is the permeable pavers, and alternate 5A, which is the synthetic infield turf. This project, approval was given for the initial development of the plans and specs. That was actually prior to me getting here. We've gone through that, and then this is primarily just for the construction portion of this. On the screen is a site plan, and that's going to incorporate field, the parking area, the drainage, the lights, everything that goes along with this project. This second slide, I was asked to give council basically an overview of the entire project, where we are to date. There was $3,400,000 approved for in bond funding for this project. And then the breakdown from there, construction base bid is the 2.5. The engineering services to date is approximately 195. And then we'll have construction administration and then project contingency. So that comes down to our 2.9. So combined, that includes the 300,000 that was approved before. And then the others, the alternate 3 is the permeable pavers, which would be paid for out of stormwater funds, and the synthetic infield turf, if approved, would be paid for by Friends of Baseball. So any questions on that? Okay.
Okay.
My slide mover. Oh, okay. This last slide is just basically some of the project highlights. Talking about the comprehensive renovation. It's great. We got great bids. It will be awarded to a local contractor. Friends of Baseball has committed to funding the infield turf. It's a pilot project for permeable pavers, and then just some of these others. It will reduce operational costs just from a variety of different things. Some of that is actually going to come from the synthetic turf, less fertilizer, less water use, chemical, things like that. Long life expectancy on this project and a lot of use with the synthetic turf. It'll actually expand our use capabilities. You won't have the weather delays. You can get on it earlier, those sort of things. Any other questions?
There might be. We'll see in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve Resolution 20-36.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment? Come on up. You got to introduce yourself in case anybody doesn't know you.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. Brightsman, Mr. Racino, it's a pleasure for me to be here tonight. My name is Cody Wright. I serve as the current president of Brookings Friends of Baseball, and on behalf of our organization, our kids, our youth, and their parents and families, I just wanted to express our appreciation for you guys taking on this project and allowing us to be a partner with it, be a financial contributor to the infield turf. That's something that's going to just push it that much higher on the utility scale for us. We're incredibly excited about what it means to all of our end users and to the community. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wright. Okay, any other public comments? Seeing none, council comments. Councilman Niemeyer?
I'd like to say that I'm very much in favor of this. I know that right now we need to watch our budget, but on the other hand, this is an opportunity to get a project done that's at quite a bit less money than what we had planned on spending. And it still leaves money for use for something else that we can also do in projects in the future. This is an economic engine that we could certainly sorely use right now. So I'm very much in favor of this.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have a comment? Thank you, Dusty. All right, please call roll.
Bacon,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Corbett,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Tiltonburn,
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Well, Resolution 20-36, the great news, it's approved. So, there are no first readings tonight. There are no public hearing or second readings. So we'll go right into Resolution 20-35. City Engineer, here she comes again.
Thank you. This item is action on Resolution 2035, a resolution authorizing the execution of a real estate sale and purchase agreement. And the City of Brookings received a hazard mitigation grant through the Federal Emergency Management Agency to purchase the property at 659 Faculty Drive, which is located on Lot 17 in College Edition. This project will involve removing structures, installing storm sewer, and reshaping the parcel to create added detention. And the total project cost is $196,700, and the grant was received for 75% of the project cost at $147,525. And the city will purchase the property at the appraised value, which is $142,500, and pay for the closing costs, asbestos abatement, and demolition, and disconnecting the utilities. This resolution will approve authorizing the execution of the real estate sale and purchase agreement of that property, and staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment on this resolution? Seeing none, close public comments. Council comments or questions? Please call a roll.
Brink,
Aye.
Corbett,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Tilton Burn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Bacon.
Aye.
Thank you for your work on that, Jackie. All right, the next one is action on Ordinance 20-005, and turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. City Council enacted the existing emergency ordinance 20-5 March 23rd. The legislation is expected to expire tonight. Staff does recommend the extension of this ordinance until May 6th. This recommendation is based on the state and federal agencies' recommendations for continued measures of social distancing for at least the next 30 days. New projections place the peak of South Dakota in mid to late June. Therefore, extending the measures will hopefully help flattening the peak here in Brookings in the curve. Additionally, local medical partners, the Brookings Economic Development Coalition, the Chamber, CVB, County, and many other entities were engaged in determining this recommendation before Council. Beyond extending the date in the ordinance, staff also recommends an amendment to address groups containing 10 or more people that are loitering. It's one of those words that's difficult for me to say. Yep. As a reminder, the existing ordinance does govern bars, restaurants, gyms, theaters, salons, barbers, bowling alleys, casinos, and many other indoor businesses. This regulation, however, does not discourage takeout or delivery, and we strongly encourage residents to support our local establishments through this trying times. Staff does recommend approval of the ordinance before City Council.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion to approve Ordinance 20-005 amendment.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Open the floor for public comments. Sir, come up and please state your name, and in case somebody didn't know you, we got to do that.
Hi. Thank you for the time. I'm Bradley Walker. I was here before on the previous meeting about this issue. And my two concerns are with extending this ordinance for another 30 days is one, the loss of income to the people who are being laid off, displaced from the job, and also from the loss of the sales tax income that the city receives for their budget. I think that since you guys decided to move it to May 6th, is again kind of, when you first proposed this motion, it was for 60 days, and then you had a reassessment on the 23rd, which was again to be reassessed today. So now you're choosing to wait another 30 days to reassess again. And my suggestion would be to only wait 2 weeks, again, a shorter time period, in case things improve, to reassess. And then my other suggestion would be, since the CDC guidelines are for 10 or less people at one place and one establishment at one time, if the businesses were able to enforce that on their own, why would the city need to overstep the bounds of the CDC guidelines to enforce a complete closure? For instance, the Brookings liquor store. So you say you have 10 people, 3 employees, or I'm just throwing out numbers.
Yeah.
That means you would be allowed 7 customers in the liquor store at one time. Just like going to a deli, ordering a sandwich. Take a number, wait your turn. They could wait outside. One leaves, one goes in. That way the liquor store could operate. The revenue would be still in gain by the city from the sales. And like I said, it wouldn't be a total shutdown. What I'm reading, what I understand is that sales tax represents 45% of the city's budget income. I don't know if that's true or not. And I heard the governor say that all these measures are going to have a significant impact on not only the state budget, but the city and county budget. So my suggestion would be to allow the barber shops, the hairdressers, the gyms, other such businesses to reopen so they can operate within the CDC guidelines. That's just my input.
Okay.
And, I appreciate your time and thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. Anyone else care to speak to this amendment to the ordinance?
Good evening. My name is Eric Miller. I wanted to touch on that as well. There's quite a few businesses that could self-monitor their establishments, like the hair salon can take appointments and limit the amount of people in their establishment and take the precautions, wear masks, or do such things. I am in the restaurant business. So my question would be, we're connected to a hotel, we're doing the takeout, it's working. We can obviously be doing better in sales, to pay for things like taxes and everything. So my question would be, if there was a way to limit in the restaurant establishment 10 people, including your staff, and take the precautions, take reservations only. We can only take 4 at a time. Once they go, we take another one. And that way the revenue would be continuing to come in. We could have less unemployment going out the door. We can have staff working. We can keep the economy going in small steps. My thing is when I go to Hy-Vee, there's 100 people in the store anyway. There's precautions in place, but they're still not sanitizing everything. I mean, you live at your own risk. Me coming out here, one of us may have it. We may not, but I'm still at that risk to live my life. So my question would be is to ease up on the restrictions a little bit for this city so we can get out of this down the road. Because I've heard August. You said June or July. It could be August. Or we can be sitting here in another month doing the same thing while our economy's failing. So I think in the meantime, we can take small steps to continue the economy as we can. But the mortality rate's low. I might get it, I might not, but I'm not going to stop living. So that's really all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. I think another gentleman wanted to speak to it.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is Simon Newkirk. I'm a postdoc at the campus, SDSU, and we do genetic research. So my main question was in regard to that. What is being done to reach out to the scientists in the community and the researchers to advocate and to facilitate testing? Has the Brookings City Council requested additional facilities or resources for testing? I know personally on campus that several individuals I've talked to say we have capacity for over 1,500 tests per day just on the SDSU campus alone. Many of those individuals are more qualified than anybody at these testing facilities. In regards to small businesses, I don't have a small business myself, but I've talked with multiple business owners in the community. I'm a little surprised more of them aren't here. So I have some questions on that. Has the City Council done an assessment of how many small businesses will go out of business or struggle financially, and how much would be needed in aid? So I know this ordinance has been in effect for over 2 weeks. I'm hoping that you have already answered some of these questions. Additionally, have you consulted with any sociology and psychology experts on how all of this social isolation will impact the mental health of our community and how that may affect harmful actions of individuals on themselves and others. Lastly, I really want to hear or see more public acknowledgement of proactive measures that are being taken. So I can see that you're all wearing masks. It looks like they were made by somebody. 3 weeks ago, I recommended that the City Council publicly disclose how to make masks and to get people starting to make them. That was ignored for over a week. And so I think that's nice to see that the community coming together to do that, but I think it's indicative of maybe you need to be more transparent with your proactive measurements. And if you look, I'm not sure which model you're basing this off of. I understand the recommendations very well. But as far as models go of what has worked in the world, across the world, there are several models. I'd be interested to hear what model we're basing all of this off of. And one of the main proactive elements that a lot of countries like Hong Kong's not a country, it's a city, South Korea, Singapore, they're taking temperature readings into large establishments like Walmart and Hy-Vee. To enter the store, you need to get your temperature taken. Even temperature readings amongst the community, I don't know if you're aware, but 80% on average of people that have COVID-19 symptoms display an elevated temperature. So I don't know if any of you have taken your temperature this morning, this week, but daily monitoring of your temperature is probably one of the easiest ways to initially identify if you're coming down with symptoms. So, and also, I heard it sounded like that there's going to be an additional measure to limit groups loitering of groups of 10. If so, how will that be enforced? So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Want to speak to any of this?
Yeah, I'll try to answer most of them that I could remember. You might have to come back in case there's something that I leave out. As far as meeting with the university and tapping into resources, we do meet every 3 days, every 2 days actually, with a large group that will be a part of standing up the Emergency Operations Center. That group entails not only the emergency management sector there on campus, but also the nursing sector as well, and I believe the health sector. So my assumption is that they would be engaging any opportunities there on campus because they would know exactly what those opportunities would be more so than I. But it would be something that I could reach out to them to see if they could explore even further. It's always an opportunity to utilize what we have in our backyard, and I think it's a great idea. As far as addressing the larger groups, it would be much like how we address this ordinance. If the police department gets a call, we'll go ahead, find that location, and then if there is a violation, the first opportunity is pretty much to educate people, offer a warning, make sure people understand the idea of social distancing. Really, this came forward because we had a lot of calls regarding parties that were occurring outside. The reality is that the governor's current executive order actually takes it a step further, especially for retail establishments where you can't have more than 10, and then you have to social distance within 6 feet, or the retail establishment has to provide further measures. See, I believe you asked a few more questions that I'm not quite remembering.
Have we consulted with sociologists and tried to understand mental health and those types
Thank
of
you.
concerns?
No, I guess I don't know the degree of which we have. I can tell you that I have contacted East Central Behavioral Services, talked to them last week and the week before to understand what's going on in the community, the impacts of some of these things that are going on. I also communicate with health professionals as well. So that's about the furthest extent that we visited with them.
Have you done an assessment on small businesses, how
Thank
many
you.
will close?
We haven't personally, but we do work with the Brookings Economic Development Coalition as well as the Chamber. The Brookings Economic Development Coalition have been talking with not only lenders, but also the larger industries in town on a daily, if not weekly basis. The Chamber, for their component, they've been sending out weekly surveys. I believe their second survey is available on their website. Strongly encourage you to review it and look at the data that's coming out. It's kind of interesting to see some of the information that I saw. It looked like about half of the businesses We're anticipating utilizing the federal funds that will be coming out. And there's quite a bit of detail in there, and I'm sure that once we have an opportunity to really dive into it, we'll learn more. They are planning on doing that weekly to gauge as we go through this process. Mhm.
City Council, Mr. Mayor, my name is Ken Leesinger, and I'd like to follow up with the closure of the businesses, mainly the gymnasiums. I'm 70 years old. I've lived in the community 40 plus years. I am a gym rat since 50. I hold records, and I'm selected to go to the Worlds. My facility has been closed. I would like the opportunity for the facilities, the gymnasiums, to police themselves. Sanford has a temperature monitor at the front door. Gymnasiums can do the same thing, limit it to 10. Full-time cleaning. I know a lot of the gyms don't keep up. You know, gyms have got a reputation of being a germ fest, that sort of thing. But they've been shut down. They understand. They can police themselves. And we, as athletes, and I know a lot of the high school athletes have had their dreams cut short. No state tournaments, nothing this year, so they can't do anything about working out, going on, getting ready for college. We, I feel, can police ourselves. Social distancing, washing our hands. Who would have thought when your mother told you that 40 years ago, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, and now smartest woman alive. But in order for us to get over this and keep ourselves somewhat stress relieved, I know I heard on the radio today, domestic violence is up because we're having to live with our spouses on a one-on-one situation. Divorce rates are up. We have no place to relieve the stress. We have no place to further our athletic abilities. I think we should, on an interim basis, reopen. Let them do themselves, police themselves, someone at the door, monitor yourself, take some responsibility. It's America. We can do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think that's it. I'll close public hearing. Council, comments, questions?
I guess I have a statement I'd like to share with the group, if that's all right, before we vote on this ordinance and its extension. I think it's probably fair for us to say that none of us involved in local government probably expected to be in this situation and confronted with this type of scenario. But here we are. We have to make decisions that are within the best interest of our community as a whole. I see the role of city councilor as enacting policy for the ongoing well-being of our community and its residents. And a public health emergency first forces us to think about the physical health of our people. To the best of our ability, we have been doing this. I know my fellow city councilors have the best of intentions when it comes to public health. I would add, though, that I would echo a lot of what was said tonight. This situation does come with another component, which is economic in nature. And when we get through this present crisis, and we are going to be hit with a wave of economic disruption that is also very much a concern. People are losing their jobs or being furloughed. People are filing for unemployment for the first time in their lives. Businesses are closed, and some will not reopen after this passes. This kind of fear is different than the fear for our physical safety, but it is also a valid fear, a very real fear, and many of your friends and neighbors are feeling it. And they are counting on us right now to make decisions that will allow the local economy to bounce back in the future, because that contributes to our overall quality of life as well. I don't know that any of us know what the right answer completely is, nor do we have a crystal ball. I just want to say I've been having a lot of conversations with people, and I'm trying to understand the concerns and perspectives out there. Welcome those interactions. Right now, I'm supportive of staying the course we have set, but I want us to be realistic and consider how sustainable our actions will be over the long term. And I would urge everyone to not go farther than we absolutely have to in fighting this battle. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Any other council members have comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Corbett,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Tiltonburn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Aye.
Bacon,
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance amendment is approved. And this, for those of you that are here and spoke to this, granted, it'll go through May 6th, but if we start to see a decline or leveling that plateau, we'd love nothing more than to revisit this. We can call a meeting at any time to do that. All right, I'm going to introduce items for future discussion. One thing I'm going to throw out there is I'm calling a special council meeting next Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, so it'll be April 14th at 6 o'clock to discuss a reading on the first first ordinance, of a stay-at-home ordinance. My thoughts on this, and I know the council members have visited with me. They've had a lot of comments from people. Again, it's a first reading, so it's something that we can discuss as a council, decide what we want to do with that. But we also will have it in place then for a quick response should our numbers start to increase dramatically. So meeting next Tuesday night, and Bonnie, I'll send a reminder out to you on the 14th at 6 o'clock. Any other items for future discussion?
Can I just add that for everybody that's watching this meeting at home, you should definitely contact us and let us know your thoughts, and you should definitely come to that meeting on the 14th, share your perspectives, and let us know how you're feeling and dealing with this.
Thanks, Lee. I forgot part of it. And we are aware of the fact that staff will be looking at, we know that there are a number of businesses that are labeled essential. And so when we start talking about that, council's going to be aware of essential businesses. And I know there's quite a lot of them in Brookings. They're deemed by the government as essential under Homeland Security. So, yeah, City Manager.
I would only comment for those watching at home and in the audience that information will be posted on our website in the agenda packet Friday afternoon. We would strongly encourage people that don't want to come here to the public forum is to go ahead and email your council members with your questions, your thoughts. Staff is looking at other measures and opportunities for people to engage the council throughout this public discussion with these issues that we have in trying to meet in the public and still keep our social distancing intact. So once again, just encourage citizens, if they do have questions or concerns, read that packet when it comes out, and then also engage your city council members. Their contact information is on our website. You can find their email address as well as, I believe, their other contact information.
Paul, could I make one more suggestion on that point? I know that we have our rules for public meetings and we have the call-ins and all of that for our city councilors, but would there be a way to also maybe have like a Facebook live stream up where a member of staff could simply look at questions that come in? I mean, I don't know if that's been explored, but just like we did with the city council forum and the school board, just as a way to get that comment in the moment.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we are looking at different opportunities. I don't know that we can have one quick enough for next week. If we can have an option that quick, we'll make sure and have it in place. There are a lot of issues with a lot of these services that are out there, and we want best service for our community and for this process. The other issue that we have is Granicus, trying to find something that works well with that program, so those that are live streaming have the option to see what's going on as well.
Yeah.
So we'll balance all of that and then try to find something as soon as possible, but at the same time have the opportunity to test it and make sure it'll work well for this meeting as well.
And I've talked to some of the other mayors asking them what they're doing, and I know there's some concerns by the federal government in investigating some of these sources or platforms or whatever they're called, so everybody's walking cautiously, but that's a real concern. So, and again, as was echoed, reach out to your council members. I know a number of people have reached out to us. The public has spoken to me, and I know a council member has been contacted about, concern about a stay-at-home ordinance. We need to have it, and some people are saying we don't. And so reach out to your council members because we rely on all of you to inform us. So, okay, anything else for future discussion? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go into executive session. So pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, going into executive session for consulting with legal counsel or reviewing communication from legal counsel about proposed or pending litigation or contractual matters. We will not have action, Joe Dell, after we come out of executive session. Okay? Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Executive session.
Yeah, thank you. Yep, thank you. The memo was really helpful, the way you put that together. Oh. Oh. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're out of executive session. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night.